Hello everyone. This hour on Verbling, the next in my what am I doing? In my Getting Results in Business series, we're working on how to motivate. And this is going to be part 9 of a 10-part series. Today we're going to be working on revising the question forms that we learned yesterday. We're going to go a little more in depth because there was a lot of information. So I want to make sure that you've really got it and have a chance to practice. Well, that's a little bit about the class. Here's a little bit about me before we begin. My name is Jon-Eric. I'm an American teacher from New York, hanging out in Lisbon, Portugal to bring you this class. By the way, here are 3 quick rules to help you participate. Don't forget to turn off, tune in, and open up, which means when you're not speaking, turn off your microphone so we keep things nice and quiet. When you are speaking, tune in to the new words that you're learning. Use them as actively as you can so that I can correct you. And finally, open up to your classmates. Relax and have fun. We're all here to learn, and this is a safe and respectful place to practice your English. And on screen, what you're going to see is the homework that I was mentioning yesterday. What we're going to do is try this out as a kind of review for those who are here, and for if you are new, this is going to be a kind of an introduction for you. Just give me a second here, and I'll say hello to everyone, and we'll get started. Hang on just a second. I just need to get my name on screen first. One moment. Give me just a second. There we go. Okay, so let's see if this works. There you go. Now you can see me. So let's say hello to 2 faces that I have not seen before. Paolo, I think this is your first time. Is that right?
Yes, it's the first time with you, but I'm not new in Verbling.
Hi. And where are you from, Paolo?
I live in Italy. Exactly, I live in Bologna.
In Bologna. Yes. I remember Bologna well. I slept in the train station. I didn't have a place to stay, so I slept on a bench in the train station. I remember well.
I hope for you that wasn't in the winter.
No, it wasn't in the winter. But yeah, it's a long story. I'll tell you another time. Let's say hello to Pinar. Hello, Pinar. Is this your first time with me?
Yes, it's my first time. This is my husband's account.
Oh, so what's your name?
Pinar.
Oh, so it's your account. If your name is there, it's your account, isn't it?
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, because if I see your name, you must be signed in as yourself.
Okay, yes, my Google account. Okay.
Yeah. Where are you from, Pinar?
I'm from Turkey.
From Turkey. Okay, good. Very good. Nice to have you. Okay, welcome back, Jason and Giuseppe as well. So listen, for Jason and Giuseppe, this is going to be a little bit of a review. A little bit. We haven't done it before, but we have worked on the skill. So the material's new. But for Paolo and Pinar, this is going to be an introduction. What we're doing is this. We've been working on small talk in a business context. Originally, we learned some vocabulary for talking about how motivated we are at work, or how motivated or how demotivated, how we feel. We looked at different sets of words. We moved on to listening to conversations that were either successful or not successful in terms of small talk, talking about motivation at work, using some key expressions and some strategies to help you in the small talk, everyday conversations, but keeping it appropriate to a business context. Not talking too personally, for example, introducing yourself with a tagline like, "Hi, I'm Jon-Eric, a teacher from New York," would be my tagline. So we talked about these strategies. Later on, if you want that material, send me a message in Verbling, and I'll give you links to the material we used if you want to see the other material we've done. And some of it you can do independently because there'll be answers there. Okay, so you can take a look at it. So today, we're gonna go a little more in depth with a skill we learned yesterday. When you're in a small talk situation, you want to ask questions to keep the conversation going. The more questions you ask, the more the conversation will flow. But you need to have a variety of question forms at your disposal. So I'm going to ask you first to just remember, for those who were here yesterday, some of the question forms we talked about. Then we're going to do a quick lesson on question forms, okay, as a group. So let me just say a quick hello to Yuki joining us now. Hello, Yuki. Nice to have you back. And Ebby, thanks for joining us.
Hello.
Okay, and Carlos, have I met you before? Because there's a lot of Carloses.
It's my first time.
Your first time. Where are you from, Carlos?
From Spain, from Valencia.
From Valencia. Okay, very good. Nice to have you. Okay, so look, here's what I'm going to do. I made this homework yesterday, but there were some complications. So instead of sending it to you, I'm going to give it to you now. It actually is homework number 3. So if you go to the class material and you click on homework 3, that's what I'm doing. By the way, I'll give you a copy there in the chat window. If you want to download it or open it, you can open it in the class chat. Okay? And if you don't see it, I'll put it there in the group chat as well. There you go. Okay? But anyway, so you'll see I corrected it. It says homework 3. But what we're really doing is revising question forms. So before I begin, Yuki, Giuseppe, Jason, I think you were all here yesterday. What were some of the question forms that we began to review yesterday that we were using? Can you, I don't know if you remember the categories of questions, but what you could do is perhaps give me an example of different kinds of questions that we could use in a small talk situation. So think more about the form than the content here. Actually, there's 3 of you, and I think we talked about 3 different types of questions, if I remember right. So, Giuseppe, what do you remember from that class? One type of question form that we could use to keep a conversation going. What do you remember? I guess that means you don't remember anything.
Yes, no question.
Yes, no questions. For example, Yuki.
For example, did you do homework yesterday?
Okay, so in other words, we can use it to confirm something. Did you do your homework? I think if I remember right, actually, I'll maybe I can review that quickly. Hold on. I'll go to that part of the. There we go. We had these categories. Checking or confirming information with yes or no questions. You can see it in the exercise from yesterday. It's category number 3 there on the right side. Okay? I agree. Very good. And Giuseppe, are you there? Because I was talking, but you didn't say anything. Giuseppe, are you there? Uh-oh. Giuseppe, maybe you're having microphone problems because I don't hear you. Okay, well, Giuseppe, work on your microphone, and when you get it on, maybe you need to re-enter the class or something. I don't know. I can't hear you. Jason, besides yes and no questions, do you remember what else we talked about? Do you recall? Another form? Like what?
Yeah, I recall we talked about question tags.
Very good. Can you give me an example?
Yeah, when can you see an example on the screen? It's Adriana, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the question tag is when you take a sentence and you repeat the verb at the end, but it becomes a question, right? Not a statement. So it's Adriana is a statement. You tag on the question. Question tag, tag on the question. It's Adriana, isn't it? The question tag is always the opposite of the main sentence. So it is positive, isn't it is negative. It is a sentence, isn't it is a question. So the question tag is always the opposite. Okay, and we could use that, we said yesterday, to start a conversation. Oh, it's Adriana, isn't it? We met at the meeting last year. As an example, you could use it to start a conversation. You could also use it to verify information. You could use it for practically anything. It forces you to speak. All right. Well, Giuseppe looks like he's having microphone problems, so I'll give you the third one. The third one you can see in exercise 1, letter A. Where did it come from? Asking open questions, WH questions, is also a good way just to keep the conversation going. Who, what, when, where, how, why, etc. Okay, so asking those. So that's it. I think we just talked about those three. Now that we've reviewed that, let's take a quick look. And whenever I give you homework, I'll give you the answers. So it says here in instructions, do the exercises on your own, check your answers on the last slide, and any questions you have, bring to class. Okay, we're going to do it together today, but in the future, you can always correct yourself on the last page. And as you can see, we're working on using question forms. All right, so I'm going to have you read through some of the, we're going to go a little more in depth now. So I'm going to have you read through some of the main points that we talked about yesterday with some examples. So here and here, basically. And then we're going to do 2 short exercises to have you practice. Then we're going to turn it over to a speaking task at the end. All right, so Carlos, can you read the first point here under making questions for us? We're just going to read through these quickly. Let's start with you, Carlos. Can you see it on screen? Carlos, are you there? I don't hear Carlos. Ebby, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So why don't you start? Can you read the first point that we need to keep in mind about asking questions in different forms? Could you read that for us?
Yes. With most verbs, most direct or WH questions with a normal auxiliary verb be, do, have, or modal auxiliary may, will, shall, etc. The auxiliary comes before the subject. Do you know many people here? How long has she been working for Hertz? Should you send that from off today?
Okay. So it's just reminding you of the general form. WH questions have an auxiliary verb when they have an auxiliary verb, because we saw an example with questions that are subject questions, like who is he? That doesn't have an auxiliary verb. Okay, but normal ones do. And just to point out the normal structure. WH, verb, subject, verb. Where do you go to school? WH, verb, subject, verb. So I'm going to say WVSV, WVSV. WH word, verb, subject, verb. WVSV. That's our formula to remember for most questions. Okay, Jason, let's go on to point number 2. We're just going to read through these quickly and then get to the exercises. Okay?
Okay. With the prepositional or the phrasal verb, the preposition or particle usually comes after the verb. Where do you come from?
Where do you come from? And not what? Not
Not from where do you come? From where do you where did you grow up?
Exactly. So look, from is a preposition. Grow up is a phrasal verb. A phrasal verb is a verb with a preposition, but it has a new meaning, a special meaning. So if I say, can you get that for me? It means, can you put it in your hand and bring it to me? If I say, can you try to get on better with me? That means have a better relationship. Get on, get along means have a good relationship. So a phrasal verb has a new meaning. Where did you grow up means, of course, where did you spend your childhood? It doesn't mean where did you physically get bigger, like a plant growing up, because plants can grow up, not down. Okay, anyway, the point is the preposition goes at the end in English. We don't say, at what time did you see him? We say, what time did you see him at? From where are you? No. Where are you from? It's important. It sounds easy, but it's important because you'll see that with less common sentences, you'll try to put the preposition at the beginning. It's just a natural thing. So I'll try to keep this in mind, even if it sounds strange to you. It seems obvious, but as you do it, you'll see it's a little bit trickier than you may think. It's hard to keep it in mind. Anyway, okay, let's go on to Paolo. Could you read point number 3 for us, please?
Yes. 3. Who and what can be the subject or the object of a question, which are different in the word order. Who
Right. By the way,
or
object in Italian is probably complemento. So we're talking about the end of the sentence. In English, we call it a complement. In most languages, in English, we call it an object. In most languages, they call it the complement, but it means the part at the end. So in I go to school, I is the subject, and school is the object. Just to be clear, okay?
Okay. Who or what as a subject. Word order same as in a statement. Who wants to come? Answer. Somebody wants to. Who or what as an object auxiliary precedes the subject. What did you say? Answer. I said something.
All right. Paolo, does that make sense to you? Do you see the difference between the two sentences? Which word is missing from who wants to come? Look at the two sentences. What's missing?
Who want to come? It means that everyone can come.
Sure, but what word is missing from that sentence?
So the subject is who in that case. The subject.
Oh, you're much more advanced than I wanted. It's too advanced. Look at the two sentences together. Who wants to come, and what did you say? What's missing from who wants to come? What is not necessary to put?
The subject, I think.
Not the subject. The auxiliary verb is not necessary here.
Ah, yes, sure.
Right? So you're a step ahead. I wanted just to form something really simple. When it's the subject that we're asking about, we don't need to say do. That's all they're trying to say here. Not who does want to come, but who wants to come. But if we're asking about school in I go to school, if I say I'm talking about school, well, maybe I want to know which. I would say which did you go to? So I'm asking about the complement or the object, or where did you go? So that's an object question. All right, I'm just spending a little time on this because it's not hard to understand this, but it's really hard when you're speaking to keep this stuff in mind. So I'm spending a little bit of extra time today because I want this to be crystal clear to everyone. That way I can just remind you in the future and you'll remember some of these examples. So anyway, okay, let's go on to, who is next? I'm sorry. Pinar. We're going to go on to part 4 out of 5. Could you read that for us?
Okay, of course. Make an ordinary statement into a question by using rising intonation. James is always, I'm afraid he is in Rome.
James, wait. James is away. Not always, but away.
Okay, I'm sorry. James is away. I'm afraid he is in Rome. He is in Rome. What is he doing there?
Right. So he's in Rome is not really a question because the subject is before the verb. He is in Rome is a statement. But if you raise your voice, you raise the intonation of your voice. Intonation is high or low intonation. If you raise it up, it becomes a question, and we can do that in English. Not as often as other languages, but we can do it. He's in Rome? Just think of Scooby-Doo. Just think of the cartoon. Just do that, and you'll sound right. So let me hear that. Not he's in Rome, but he's in Rome, Pinar?
Yes, he's in Rome, right?
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
He's in Rome? What's he doing there? So my voice goes up on the last two words, Rome and there. Okay? Is that clear, everyone? Clear? Okay. Victor, can you do the last point for us, number 5?
Yes. Use negative questions to check that something is true. Put NT after the auxiliary and
What?
use them when the answer yes is expected.
Okay, give us some examples here. Can you read the examples?
Yes. Didn't Amelia move to Marseilles a few months ago?
Marseille.
Yes. Again, didn't Amelia move to Marseille a few months ago? Yes, that is right, when the new branch was opened.
Okay. So using a negative question allows you to verify that something is true. It's a rhetorical question. You're not really asking it. You're just trying to verify, or you're trying to keep the conversation flowing.
Sorry.
Go for it.
In this sentence, I think I should to make my voice little bit high, because in the beginning of the sentence, maybe because if you
well, say it again for us. Say it again.
Didn't Amelia move to Marseilles a few months ago?
Well, you can say it in more than one way. I would say, hey, didn't Amelie move to Marseille a few months ago? I mean, it depends. You raise up on the part that you're not sure about, right? A few months ago means you're concerned about the time. Hey, didn't Amelia move there? Didn't I could if I want to put the focus on whether she did or didn't, I put it on the first part. So it depends on the context. You can raise your voice in different places to stress different things. So sure, you could do it in a different way. But the point is, negative questions are a great way to keep the conversation flowing. That's the point. Keep these 5 points in mind. We're going to try them out. We've got question tags too. All right, Yuki, you do this one, and we'll go back to Giuseppe for the second part if his microphone is working. So read the first part. There's a lot of information there about question tags, Yuki. Can you read it for us?
1. If the main verb is positive, the question tag is negative. With the verb be, repeat the verb in the negative. Is it it's hot, isn't it? With verbs in the present simple, use don't, doesn't. You work for Siemens, don't you? With verbs in past simple, use didn't. He left early yesterday, didn't he? All other tenses that have auxiliaries, continuous tenses, perfect tenses, etc. Reuse the first auxiliary in the negative. He's been to China, hasn't he? They would say that, wouldn't they? You will be there, won't you?
Okay, that's good for now. So the main idea here is use the auxiliary verb. The only time you don't is with the verb to be, because it doesn't need an auxiliary. It's always alone. But that's an exception. All right? So whatever the auxiliary verb is you use, later we might see that there's a few cases where you have to add an auxiliary that is a little different than what's in the sentence, but don't worry about that for now. I think that, yeah, don't worry about that for now. Giuseppe, how's your microphone now? Is it working?
Can you hear me?
Yep, it works. Okay.
Okay.
Can you read the last 2 points for us before we do the exercise?
Yes. If the main verb is a negative, the question tag is positive. You haven't seen my keys anywhere, have you?
Good.
If the subject is a word like someone, no one, everybody, anyone, use they in the question tag. Anyone can use the meeting room, can they? Everybody knows that, don't they?
Okay, this is a good point, actually. It's not so obvious. So if you're using a pronoun that expresses a group or anyone in a group, in other words, more than one person, you've got to keep it plural. It's a little weird, though, isn't it? Because everyone knows that. Knows is in the singular form, right? He knows. If I say they, I would say they know. So it's a little bit strange because the first part is actually in the singular form, but the don't they is in the plural form. But that's how it works in English, so don't question it. Just remember, if it's anyone, no one, if it's a, what do we call these? I forgot the name of the pronoun. Anyway, pronouns that represent more than one person, they have to be pluralized in the question tag. Okay, it's a lot of information. Don't try to remember it. Just try out the exercise and let's see how it sounds, okay? So we're back to Ebby, I think, in our list.
Yes.
All you have to do is put the words in order, thinking about the forms that we've already discussed. I think it's not so difficult. Let's see. What do you think about the first one?
Is anyone coming in tomorrow?
Is anyone coming in tomorrow? Okay. What kind of question is that? Remember our categories? I don't know if you remember what we talked about. We had question tags, we had yes-no questions, we had open questions.
I think it is yes and no question.
It's a yes-no question. I think so too. Okay, it sounds good. Is anyone coming in tomorrow? All right. And going in the same order as before, where Jason's next, number 2.
How much could we save?
How much could we save? Okay, good. And what kind of question is that? Yes, no, question tag, open question.
Open question.
It is an open question. When it's got a WH, it's an open question. In other words, there's more than one answer, not just yes and no. Okay, so far so good. Paolo, what about number 3? Paolo, are you there? Hello, Paolo? Does anyone hear Paolo? Or is it just me? Hello,
No.
Paolo?
He's muted.
Paolo, are you sleeping? Okay, let's go on to Pinar.
Yes.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? Yes, no, question tag, or open question?
No, open question.
Open question because it's got a what in it. Absolutely. So you force someone to give a real answer because it's got a what. There's no quick answer to give. Sounds good. Okay, Victor, we're on to 4. Victor, are you there?
Yes, sorry.
Well,
what did you come?
hang on a second. If it's a question, which
Yes.
of those words must come first? If it's the question, which of those words must be the first word? There's only one that can be first.
Did.
Wait a second. That's if it's a yes or no question, right?
Okay, yes.
That's a, so maybe it's not a yes or no question.
With. It's open question. With.
It is an open question, but with is not a question word.
Oh.
right?
Uh,
In fact, if you go back to the previous pages, you'll notice, let me just go back quickly.
in this we don't have.
But wait, take a look. In point number 2, it said prepositional or verbal phrases go at the end. They go after the verb. So with is a preposition. That means it's going to go after the verb. So that one cannot be first. Probably it'll be last. Because with is just like up and from. Do you see point number 2 there?
Yes.
Okay. So we know that with is probably going to be at the end after the verb. Probably. Okay? So keep that in mind, and let's go to number 4. There is, if this is an open question, what's our WH word in that sentence? What's our WH word? WHs are which, where, how, why. And number 4.
And with, I think, but I'm not sure.
No, that's a preposition. No.
Can somebody help me, because I a little bit stuck.
Oh, Victor, you can do it. You can do it. Read those 5 words for me. Just read them.
With who you did come.
Exactly. Which one of those is a question word? Not with.
Who?
Exactly. There's your question word. Exactly. So to form an open question, it goes at the beginning, right?
Yes.
Okay, try it again.
I forgot all meaning of all of these words.
Right. Okay, but anyway, but don't worry. But that's why I'm here. I'm here to help you, so don't worry. But you got to try it out. If you try it out and you force yourself to do it, you will remember a lot better than if you just hear the answer. Okay, so...
Okay, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Okay. Who did you come with?
Exactly. Who did you come with? With has got to go after the verb at the end. In English, it goes at the end. That's it. Who did you come with? Very good. That's it. Yuki, we're on to number 5. Oh, this one's got lots of words.
Thank you.
Okay.
So just like Victor, you got to pick out the question word first. Define the question word. How, obviously.
How is that? How have you been working with Diana for long? How long have you been working with Diana?
For. Exactly. Again, do you remember, as I said earlier, it sounds obvious, but when you actually see the question, putting the preposition at the end doesn't feel right to most people, but it is right. How long have you been working with Diana for? Not for how long. That's how the sentence... This is a transformation. The real sentence is, for how long you've been working with Diana. But we don't say that in English anymore. That's an old English way of constructing the sentence. The modern way...
sentence, preposition for is needed.
Yeah, absolutely. It's needed. Yeah.
Really?
It's needed. But we do a sentence transformation. Just like when you say, I am Jon-Eric, am I Jon-Eric is a question. We did a sentence transformation, switching the verb and the subject. In this kind of question, we also do a transformation. The real sentence is, for how long have you been working with Diana? But in modern English, the preposition goes at the end. Just like if you speak German, you have to put the second verb. You have to put the verb at the end. English has to put the preposition at the end. So no matter how weird it sounds to you, trust it. It's right. How long have you been working with Diana for is correct. Weird, but correct. Okay, very good job. That one was difficult.
Thank you.
Abby, what about 6?
John.
Oh, what happened?
I'm sorry, I have to go.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
See you again next time.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
See you.
Okay, Abby, what about 6?
Who did you send the exhibition to?
Who did you send the exhibition to? You know what? That makes
Yeah.
it makes perfect sense, but you're making a little mistake here. Is this a subject question or an object question? In other words, are we asking about who or are we asking about sending? In other words, are we concerned about which person went or are we concerned about sending something to somebody? So
I think,
yeah.
yeah, it is, I think, about the person.
It's about the person. It's actually a subject question, not an object question. Right?
Yeah. Okay.
So you don't need to put the preposition at the end because it's a different kind of question.
Okay, so it's gonna be at the beginning. To who?
No? Try again.
Who did you send? No.
Yeah.
Who did you send to
Yeah.
the exhibition?
Correct. Say it again, fluently.
Okay. Who did you send to the exhibition?
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah. Oh, I got it now, yeah.
Yeah. So you were confused because we were just talking about prepositions, but in this case, it's the subject question, so it follows slightly different rules, slightly different. In other words, if I were asking about where they went, that would be different. Where did you send them to? That would be okay. Here, we don't need the to because it's not about where, it's about who went. And there's just no reason to put the preposition in this case. Anyway, it's not actually that obvious. So it's a little hard to explain. But anyway, you got it right. So that's probably the most difficult one of all so far. Okay, Giuseppe, what do you think about number 7?
Well, Guy hasn't gone to the conference.
That would be a statement, and this one is a question.
Exactly. Hasn't gone Guy to the conference.
Okay, that's correct, but the word order is still a little bit strange. Almost. You got the right idea, but the word order has to change. So say it one more time.
Hasn't gone the guy to conference.
Guy is the name of a person.
Oh, yeah.
Like, maybe Jason can help me with my French, but what's the name of the famous French writer? Guy de Maupassant?
Yes, it's
Is that right? So it's
right.
actually, so it's probably either French, it's Guy, or it's English and it's Guy. But it's someone's name. It's not the guy, like the dude. It's someone's name.
Yes. It's a name. It's a Guy.
Guy. Okay, but in English we can say Guy. But anyway, it's still someone's name. So Giuseppe, keeping in mind that it's a name, not a person, not the guy, it's Guy, like Gary or whatever. How would you say it now?
Hasn't Guy gone to the conference?
Exactly. So it's not hasn't the guy gone, but hasn't Guy gone to the conference. That's it. Okay, and last one, Jason, number 8.
Number 8.
Well, I don't see any question words, so all I see is an auxiliary verb.
Yeah, I think
so.
Should we ask for help? No.
Why? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? Sounds okay.
Yeah. Should we ask for help to our manager?
Okay, but there's no to. You added a word.
Yes.
Right? It's the right idea, but you put the words in a slightly different order, and you don't need the to. You don't need to add anything here. You are absolutely right. Should we ask? That's right.
Should we ask manager for help?
Good. That's it. Should we ask our manager for help? Our manager. Okay. So that was a bit challenging. I want you, before we do the exercise, the speaking tasks, I want you to correct these, okay? So you'll see that there's a problem. Paolo, is your microphone working? Paolo, are you there?
Yes, I'm
Ah,
sorry. Am
okay, you
I?
disappeared. We were
Yeah.
worried. We were like, oh, what happened to Paolo? Let's go save him. Maybe he's in trouble.
No,
But you're
just
here.
an
You
important
fell,
call. Sorry.
you fell asleep. It happens. I understand. Okay, Paolo, look at the first one. There's a mistake in that sentence. I want you to see if you can correct it, keeping in mind what we've said about question forms. Okay, read it for us and see if you can spot the mistake. Paolo, are you still on the call or are you with us?
Yes, no, I'm here. Why
Okay, so go ahead,
that?
yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Why didn't you come to help for help to me?
Well,
Why?
first read it normally and see if you notice the mistake. Just
Okay.
read it normally.
Why you didn't come to me for help?
Why you didn't come to me for help, okay? Well,
Yes.
so what's the mistake?
Yeah, I
What
have to invert the order of
exactly?
the verb auxiliary and verbs. Why didn't you come to me for help?
Exactly. This is the most common mistake that I get from students. They say that sentence, why you didn't come to me? Because in many languages, Latin languages, you don't invert the word order. At least in Portuguese, you don't. In French, I guess you do in some sentences. In Italian, I guess you do, right? You can. In some sentences, you can invert, can't you? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yes.
So it's a common mistake. Anyway, you got it right. Why didn't you come to me for help? That's it. Victor, Victor, read number 2. Spot the mistake.
Yes.
Read it normally first.
Second one.
Second
Number
one.
2. How much cost a new one?
Okay. So it's wrong.
Yes,
Can
I know.
you spot the mistake?
How much does
Good. Does what?
does the new one cost?
Perfect. How much does a new one cost is correct. It was missing the auxiliary verb do. In this case, it's third person, does. That's
Yes.
it. Okay, very good. And Yuki, what about 3? Can you spot the
3.
mistake?
Don't work you for empty electrics. Don't you work for empty electrics?
Exactly. We need the subject before the main verb, not after. That's it. Okay, very good. And let's go around one more time to finish up. Ebby, we're back to you for number 4.
What you will do first? What will you do first?
What will you do first? Same thing. What will you? So here, no, not the same thing. Sorry. Here, it's the auxiliary verb that's in the wrong place. It's got to come before the subject to make a question. Because we said WVSV, WH word, verbal auxiliary, subject, main verb. WVSV. That's it. And Giuseppe, what about 5?
How long have you been working for Cisco?
How long have you been working? Instead of how long you've been working. How long have you been working is correct. Very good. And Jason, 6?
Who did you see at the sales meeting?
Very good. Who did you see? Not who you did. And Paolo, 7?
Yes. 7. What does it mean? This program has performed an illegal operation?
But I think you added too many words there. You added too many words.
What I think it what does it mean?
You don't need it. First of all, you don't need it.
I have to put all the sentence instead of the
Yeah,
it. Okay.
exactly.
What does this program as perform an illegal operation mean?
Perfect. So you can't have it and the thing it refers to in the same sentence. It's got to be one or the other. Absolutely. So that's it. What does this program perform an illegal operation mean? What does X mean? That's the formula. What does X mean? Okay, Victor, last one, number 8.
For what stands UNESCO?
For is a preposition, right?
Yes.
So where do we put prepositions? At the beginning or the end? Two choices. You have a 50-50 chance to guess. Does the preposition go at the beginning or at the end in an English question?
In the beginning.
You lost the coin toss. It goes at the end.
Oh yeah.
Goes at the end. So try it again.
Oh yes. What stands UNESCO for?
Almost there. You're just missing the auxiliary.
What UNESCO stands for?
But you're missing the auxiliary verb here.
What does the UNESCO stand for?
Okay, good. What does UNESCO stand for?
Yes, as we put.
What does?
Yes. Now
That's it. Okay, and you don't need to say the UNESCO or anything like that. It's not necessary here. So, what does XYZ stand for? For goes at the end. I think in the interest of time, we might just look at question tags. I don't think if we start the speaking task, we're really going to run out of time. But we'll have an entire class tomorrow just for speaking. So last exercise, and I think that might be all we have time for. Let's see. Yuki, what's the question tag in number 1?
Number 1, you are from London, aren't you?
Good. By the way, you're.
You're.
Yeah,
you're.
not you are, but you're.
You're.
Right.
You're from London, aren't you?
Very good. Ebby, number 2.
You couldn't give me a lift to the station, could you?
Perfect. Giuseppe, number 3. Giuseppe?
Number 3, sorry.
Yeah?
The bank shuts at 5. The bank shuts at 5. Isn't it?
You have to think about this one.
The bank shuts at 5.
You cannot say isn't it because there's no verb to be in the sentence. The verb is to shut.
Oh, well.
Ask it as a question. Ask it as a question first, Giuseppe. Forget about the question tag. Turn the statement into a question first, Giuseppe.
Do the bank shuts at...
Say again?
Does the bank shuts at 5?
Does the bank shut at 5? Right?
Yes.
Not shuts. Does the bank shut at 5?
Shut at 5.
Okay. What's the auxiliary verb there?
Does.
Exactly. Now do the question tag.
The bank shut at 5, doesn't it?
Perfect. Like I said, you have to think about that one. But that's right.
Oh, okay, it's easy.
Yeah, the bank shuts at 5, doesn't it? The bank shuts at 5, doesn't it? So if you're not sure, you have to take the sentence in the first part, turn it into a question, then you see the auxiliary verb, use that verb in the question tag, and you've got it. So when you're in a doubt, change it to a question first. Jason, number 4.
You didn't see Hannah, did you?
Yeah, that one's easy, right? Just change didn't to did. You didn't see Anna, did you? Okay, Paolo, number 5.
Yes, number 5. You haven't seen Joe, have you?
Yep, that was easy too. Just keep using the auxiliary verb. Okay, Victor, number 6 is also, it's not so difficult. Same pattern.
Do you want to?
Number 6.
Okay.
Number 6. Remember, you're just adding the question tag.
Okay, you want tell anyone? Did you?
Well, what's the auxiliary verb? Is do the auxiliary verb? No. So what's the auxiliary verb? What's the first verb?
Have, maybe.
Where do you see have? Where do you see have?
Have you?
Where do you see have in the sentence?
In the end.
No. Where do you see have? There's no have in the sentence. You're adding it. It's not there. What is there? What's the verb? What's the verb? Victor.
Do you want? I don't know.
I know you don't know because you're trying to guess, but I don't want you to guess. It's not necessary to guess. Just look at the sentence. You, is that a verb? Yes or no?
No.
No, of course. Won't, is that a verb?
Verb.
It is a verb, isn't it? Tell, is that a verb?
Yes.
It is a verb. Anyone, is that a verb?
No.
No, of course not. So 2 verbs. Won't tell. Which one is the auxiliary verb? Which one is the main verb? The verb that expresses the main idea?
Want.
Oh, hang on a second. Look. The main verb, first of all, it will always come second. Always. If it's a question, it will always be second. Second, it expresses the action of the sentence, the meaning.
Okay.
The auxiliary verb is auxiliary because it's not necessary, it's extra. And it's there just to form the question. It always comes first. Always comes first. So, what's the auxiliary verb here? Won't or tell? What's the first verb? The first verb.
Do. I don't know. First one.
But Victor, you're adding words. You're adding words. You don't need to add anything. It's not necessary.
Okay.
So there's 2 verbs. Won't tell. The first verb is won't, right?
Yes, won't.
Okay. To add the question tag, all you need to do is repeat the first verb, but make it the opposite. If it's negative, it becomes positive. If it's positive, it becomes negative. That's it. It's all you have to do.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
So you try it again, and I'll correct you, okay?
You won't tell you anyone.
Okay, what's the opposite of won't? What's the positive form of won't?
You will.
Exactly.
You will tell you anyone.
So, will goes at the end. Listen to me.
Mm-hmm.
You won't tell anyone, will you? You won't tell anyone, will you?
Oh.
Do you see what I did?
Yes.
Yeah?
You won't tell. You won't tell anyone. You won't tell anyone, will you?
That's it. So in other words, you take won't, you find the first verb, in this case it's won't, and you make it the opposite.
Okay.
That's how the question tag works. Now that's the form. What's the meaning? The meaning is, I'm making you speak. I'm making you verify information. You won't tell anyone, will you? And the person says, no, of course I won't. You're making them verify that they won't do it. Okay? So, Victor, remember, you can do this homework on your own as well, because the answers are on the last page. So you can download this, and all of your answers are there on the last slide if you want to check again. So try it again on your own to get more practice. All right? And if you want, send me a message, and I'll give you even more practice. I have plenty of work if you want to give more exercise. Yuki, what about 7?
Yes. Nobody's cold, isn't it? Isn't it?
Uh-oh.
No.
Uh-oh.
Nobody is cold. Hasn't it?
Wait a second. Is nobody one person or many people? Can nobody be more than one person?
No one. One person. No one. 0.
Yuki, go back here to the points in the beginning, right?
Yes.
And look at point number 3, the one that Giuseppe read on the right side. Look at it again.
Left side.
Point number 3. Look at point number 3 that Giuseppe read. See it?
Yes. Yes.
Do you understand?
Understand. Yes.
Okay.
Nobody.
Hold on, let me go back. Okay, look at number 7 again.
Nobody's cold. Haven't they?
Wait. Is it negative or positive? Nobody's called.
Hasn't he?
He? No, they is right.
Haven't they?
Yeah, but here you don't need to say haven't. It's nobody's.
Isn't he? Isn't aren't they?
Wait a second. No, listen to me. Nobody's called, have they? Nobody's called, have they?
Oh. Not haven't they?
No, it's not. No, it's not necessary here. Because this one
negative form.
It's not, because this is the exception. In point number 3, we saw that indeterminate pronouns like nobody, anyone, they need to be pluralized, and guess what? They don't need to be. They don't follow the same pattern. They're a little different.
I see. Difficult.
Right?
Nobody.
This one is
hasn't.
Have they?
Have they?
Have they is right. Yeah. So maybe I can create. Maybe what I should do is create another homework here, so you all have a little more practice, because this one is a little tricky. Okay. Last one. Ebby, you are going to finish the class today. Last one, number 8.
That wasn't easy, was it?
There you go. That one's easy. You just take the opposite. That wasn't easy, was it? Well, these question forms are not as obvious as they sound, are they? They're a little bit difficult. I think what I'm going to do is try to put together a second homework for you after class and send it to you through Verbling so that you can practice on your own. I'll try to come up with a few more exercises where you get to practice these forms. It's going to take me a little while, but I'll do it. I will also go back and correct your texts from the previous class, so and I'll send you a message when it's done, so you can go back from the speaking skills class as well, okay? In tomorrow's class, we're going to put all this together into a practical, realistic speaking task, something that you might have to do at work. You'll get a chance to use a variety of question forms and vocabulary about motivation and small talk strategies, all the things we've been talking about. Questions or comments, send me a message through Verbling. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow at 10 GMT for Great Short Stories and 11 GMT for the final class in How to Motivate. Bye for now, everyone. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
See you. Bye, teacher.